I'm Dave Baker.
And I'm Andrew Price.
Welcome to Deep Cuts, the podcast where we pick a topic and walk you through the ins, the outs, and the nitty-gritty so you can appear like an interesting or idiosyncratic person at your next forced social function. Today's topic is...
the carpet people of New York.
Who are the carpet people? Well, they're two separate guys, Kevin Carpet and Giorgio the Human Carpet, who have nothing to do with one another, yet they each inexplicably wrap themselves in carpet and lie down in the New York City nightclubs, hoping that people will step on them.
Act 1. Cut from a different cloth. You never know what you might find in a New York nightclub. You might stumble upon a show featuring giant inflatable puppets. There could be any number of celebrities trying to get away from the gaze of paparazzi. And if you're lucky, you might just stumble upon one of the carpet people. But if you like to go to bed early, don't worry. You might just encounter a carpet guy on a New York sidewalk. It's practically become a genre of TikTok video at this point whenever someone encounters some carpet on the sidewalk that has a peculiar bump in it. We're gonna start off with a bang and just fucking watch one of these carpet motherfuckers.
Stepping on the guy who hides himself in the carpet in Soho. POV.
Pretty sure there's a guy in this sort of thing. Good use of hands-free, I got my coffee, but see? There's a guy in there that likes to be stepped on. So I'm glad I captured that for everyone. He's got a few more folks walking on him. I don't know what he's doing under there. And then I'm gonna go step on him for you all, so you could see it firsthand, I guess, right?
POV, dude.
Well, if he wants to be stepped on.
So first of all, just real quick. So first of all, I mean, we're just hopping into this. We're just jumping into the deep end early, Davy Bakes. But first of all, it's very funny to me. Because this is like, this guy's recording this video and he's like, yeah, look at that guy. And he's like, I'm going to go step on him so you can see from a, firsthand POV, which is very funny because that is that guy's like sexual kink. Like he's just like recording himself like jerking this guy off basically. He's like, I'm just going to go do it for you guys and let you see what happens.
Dude, I wish life was like this. Are you kidding? You imagine how amazing life would be if the average fucking person was just like, oh, you want to get sat on? Yeah, lay down. I'll just put my genitals on your face or whatever the fucking thing is.
Yeah, it's very funny that because of the specific thing that it is, people are so casual about just doing it. Like, if he was in public with his dick out, just being like, touch it, like. That's a whole different story.
That's how you get Louis C.K.'d.
Yeah,
don't do that.
But
that's not good.
Because the thing that he wants is like not thought of. It's stepping on somebody it's weird, but it's not like in the grander scheme of things sexual to most people. So it's just funny that he's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go like make this dude come real quick.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like it's interesting, like you're saying, the disconnect between a sexual act being highly erotic for one party, but completely platonic for the other. I really like that dichotomy. I wonder if there's other things in life like that we're just not aware of. Where like you're in line at Home Depot carrying a giant piece of wood, and someone's like, "Yeah," or you're like, buying fucking galoshes, and someone's like, "Yeah." Oh, and like to you, it's just your average everyday thing.
100%. I think I might have talked about this on the show before, and I actually think I might have talked about this on the show with one of the other guest hosts because I don't remember telling you about it. I have this memory of saying it, but I don't remember telling you about it. There's a podcast with Jon Ronson, who is a British journalist. And he was talked about on the Shags episode because he interviewed the Wiggins sisters, and he did a lot of the material from the Shags episode came from Jon Ronson's reporting on it. He also wrote The Men Who Stare at Goats, and he did a podcast called The Butterfly Effect, which is about how Pornhub being created in the 2010s had this ripple effect where it essentially like destroyed the porn industry. And all before Pornhub existed, like the porn industry, people were getting rich off of DVD sales, and it was a very lucrative industry. And then this website came out, and it kind of like gutted the entire industry overnight. And you used to have these like institutions like Jenna Jameson or whatever who were like rich from being porn stars, and now like the whole industry is different to where, when you want to get into porn, you have like a good 2 years where you need to make shoot as much as possible to make as much money as possible. And then after about 2 or 3 years, your career is basically over. And it's like whatever you made in that time is whatever you had. So but we also like, yes, that was true, but now we've entered into another phase of things. Oh yeah, this podcast came out years ago, so it was before the OnlyFans thing,
which is fascinating. We should do an episode about OnlyFans and like the trajectory of the porn industry. This is a very interesting topic. Because it's something nobody talks about, but like also is kind of a microcosm for global culture. As we know, Betamax, VHS, like it defines so much of technology, because whatever kind of medium porn backs is the technology that's going to take off. And now it's such a weird pipeline of like people doing dance TikToks that are just like objectively not, I mean, they're not sexual, but you know what I mean? Like they're not risque. They're just the same dances that everyone does. And those TikToks then funnel people into these various performers' private OnlyFans accounts.
OF in bio or whatever.
Yeah, it's so interesting to me.
Yeah, this podcast came out before OnlyFans existed. I think it came out in like 2017 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But that's what the podcast is about, and I listen to it. I'm a fan of John Ronson, and I like his investigative journalism and his pieces that he does. And one of the things that he talks about in that podcast is just as a side note of something I don't remember, but he talks about there's this website called freeclips.com or something like that, or clips for free or something like that. Clips for free or clips for sale. That's what it's called. It's called clipsforsale.com. And it is a fetish porn website where you can go and buy clips of any kind of fetish you could think of. And it's like broken down by all these hundreds of categories. And he talks about the fact, he interviews the guy who created the website. And the guy created the website because his specific fetish was watching women go grocery shopping.
I love it.
And
what a great kink! You just can go to the grocery store and be satisfied anytime.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
And so he there wasn't any content that existed for that specific kink, and so he created the website specifically so that he could like provide that type of content to people that had that specific kink. And so he just started shooting his own videos of this and putting them on the website, and then he kind of opened it up to be like, this is a hub for anybody to create content around these like hyper specific niches, and then that just became what the website was. And he interviewed the guy who created the website. But anyway, the whole point of that is to say that yes, there are people who are walking around who are just seeing people do like completely innocuous things that are totally platonic, and they're just getting off on it.
My kink is watching podcast co-hosts try and figure out why the alpha channel is not working.
Oh yeah. Your specific kink is recording remotely with somebody and then them having to like remotely log into your computer and figure out why you can't do something.
100%. Yeah.
But the other thing is, like I said, we're jumping off into the deep end, Davy. First mate, Davy boy. When did you hear about the Carpet People? And if you did, like, when did you first hear about these people?
I remember us talking about it when it was kind of blowing up on TikTok. I remember us talking about one of the guys, and then I think you texted me, bro, there's another guy. There's two of them.
Yes.
And then I don't remember which one of us said, oh shit, we have to do an episode about this then.
Yeah, that's the crux of it, I think. One guy in New York City who just sits under carpets and like wants people to step on them. That's just kind of like a weird, crazy guy. I don't know if that's really an episode I don't know if there's a lot to discuss with like there's a crazy guy who wants people to step on him. The moment where it transitioned over into this is a deep cuts episode, let's do this as an episode. Whenever I discovered that there are two different guys who do this, and as we'll get into, it's a little bit of a spoiler alert, but they hate each other and have an intense rivalry.
Which makes it so much better.
That's when this became an episode to do. And as I just said, there's not a single person doing this. There are, in fact, two carpet guys in New York City who have beef. So you never know who you might be stepping on. Although most of the time it does seem like Kevin is under the carpet. Many have posted videos of them over the last year or so. Some are just pointing it out like it's another tourist attraction you might see when visiting New York. Others accuse them of being creepy or having ulterior motives for bundling up in carpets and waiting for people to stomp on them. But who are the carpet people? And in a city as large as NYC, why is there only room for one dude who likes being stepped on? Let's start with the aforementioned Kevin Carpet. He's reportedly been doing this since the 1980s, and apparently when he first started, there was no carpet involved. He would lie on the ground and people would step on him, shoes to jacket.
Kevin Carpet looks like a guy who went to a casting call for The Sopranos, and the casting director was like, I think this guy's actually connected. I don't think we should hire him.
Yeah, they didn't hire him out of fear that he would actually have a bunch of like his boys ride up on the set and start like calling the shots and telling them how to see, and like, no, that's not how that would happen. You're not going to disparage the family with it, and then they would be like pressured into changing the show.
Kevin Carpet looks like the type of guy who at one point made a small fortune in the porn industry.
And here's the thing. I don't want to spoil too much of the fun, but like, I mean, I don't know about porn industry, but like, here's the thing. You assume these guys are two homeless people, but they're not.
Kevin Carpet looks like the type of guy who says, "How you doing?" unironically.
Yeah, he never stopped quoting Joey from Friends, and he still thinks it's funny to this day.
Kevin Carpet looks like the type of guy who's when he's about to leave for a night out in the town, yells at his housekeeper, "Where's my fucking keys?"
Yeah, here's the thing. Kevin Carpet looks like somebody who knows what he's doing. Because
yeah, he does.
He's developed a whole little situation here where, as you can see, he's got some ladies who will happily just openly in public do his fetish for him because they just think it's like a funny little thing as going back to what you were saying before, the photo, the platonic thing versus fetish or whatever. He's created a situation where almost anybody will just do his sexual fetish for him out in public in the open because it's like a tourist attraction photo op.
I mean, that's the best case scenario, really. Like, it's genius on both parts because it's hilarious to do that, and also he's getting his jollies. Good for him.
Yeah.
We don't kink shame here at the Mystery Treehouse.
Well, let's not be too hasty, but yes, conceptually.
Andrew's like, no, I objectively kink shame.
I just mean like let's not be too hasty to just like say like, yeah, this guy is cool and he's doing everything.
Oh, I'm not saying he's cool. No, yeah, you're right. I'm not saying he's cool. He's a fucking weirdo, but that's why it's cool, because he's a fucking weirdo.
The idea was he'd go to nightclubs and parties and lay down on the floor by the bar. People would step on him or try to avoid stepping on him, and he eventually took to wrapping himself in carpet, probably in part to avoid any injuries. There was even an incident where he needed to get 14 stitches in his forehead after a woman wearing stiletto heels hit him. Eventually, he found a system that worked. He technically wrapped himself in two carpets, one thin and one thick. He also brings some cardboard slabs and moving blankets to prevent movement when someone stands on him, all of which he keeps in the back of his SUV. We got a picture of Kevin Carpet with his SUV once again. I mean, we're going to learn more about this, but like he's not living on the streets. He's just a dude, and this is his thing he does.
There's nothing that says erotic weekend in the city like a Hyundai Subaru.
Yeah, exactly. If anything,
Or no, Hyundai Sonata. That was the joke I was trying to make. Subaru is another type of car.
no, Dave. Hyundai Subaru. That's what it is. Yeah, I mean, in a way, it demystifies it a little bit. It's like, oh, this, it demystifies the person, and it's like, is he that cool? I mean, not cool, but like, is he that interesting of like a weirdo dude or whatever?
Yeah, because
he's driving an SUV.
You want it to be like, did you ever see the Crumb documentary where they interviewed him and his brothers?
Yeah, and his brother.
His brother sexually gets off on like tantrically like eating rope and then shitting it out for days on end, and like that's the kind of fucked up weirdo that you want someone like this to be. And for him to just be like, yeah, I look like I am a middle manager at Target.
I drive a Kia
Sorento.
I don't want to know this. This is why celebrities shouldn't be so online. I don't want to know this stuff. Yeah. I want to think of you as like as a monolith. But also the part of this that's very funny to me, just going back to like his process, is like this is very familiar, right? This is very like this is what anybody does in any process. It's what we did with this show. It's what, I've done with any kind of creative project I do. You start out and you start doing something, and then over time you start to learn the little ins and outs of like, oh, well, if we do it like this improves the process. And if I use this little dog clicker thing whenever I'm doing the script, I click it, and then I can like edit out the mistakes looking at the waveform and looking at the little parts where the click happens, which is something that I figured out like maybe like a couple years ago. After 3 years of doing the show, I added this little thing into the repertoire that made it a little bit easier to make the show. And we have a specific process of how we like screen share, and I'm recording the stuff, and then I use that video footage for that's a thing that everybody's familiar with. And Kevin Carpet was doing that. He was like, oh yeah, if I add this second thicker carpet, then like, that cushions me a little bit more so that I don't get stabbed by stiletto heels. And if I use these moving blankets, that makes it so that they can't like, take the carpet off of me. And he slowly learned these little tricks to make his whole process more efficient. And I find that very hilarious.
Do you think he legally changed his name to Carpet?
I hope so. I don't know, but I hope so. I would.
Do you think his parents were murdered in a senseless crime in a, dingy area of New York City, and he went back to his familial estate weeping as a young boy?
Oh, he's Batman.
As his butler brought him his nightly tea while he was mourning the death of his dearly departed parents.
And he got tangled up into a giant carpet and couldn't escape.
Yeah, he's like, yes, father, I shall become a carpet.
Yeah, I mean, I vote for either that, or he's like a character from Tintin, and like his family name just is Carpet. And then then that just happens to be the thing that he does.
The weird Franco-Belgian logic that doesn't really make any sense, but also is so whimsical that you're like, this is great, I love this.
And when he spoke to The Cut about this penchant, he wanted to make one thing abundantly clear.
This is not a fetish for me. I don't get off on it. I don't do it to jerk off. A couple of times, these girls have said, do you get off? I said, no. They said, let's see. So they stood on my area and they were rubbing it back and forth. Nothing.
I mean, first
bullshit.
of all,
that's what I say to that.
That's bullshit. It's utter bullshit. It's
bullshit.
Utter bullshit.
No way.
I do this for the integrity of the craft of carpet stepping.
I love the idea that he's like describing an actually sexual encounter where both parties know they're engaged in an erotic encounter, and he was like sweating and like, it wasn't the sexiest thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life.
Yeah, like why would you even bring that up unless it definitely did get you off? Like yeah. One time these girls they were like asking me about my area, and they stepped on it.
So gross.
And nothing. Absolutely. I mean, and here's the thing: you don't have to literally he's kind of obfuscating because it's like you don't have to literally jizz your pants in order to get off on something. Like that's not. Sometimes that happens, but like you don't. That the physical act of jizzing, it doesn't have to occur for something to get you off sexually. Many people, a lot of people, they do things and they, as like a psychological or a psychic collection that they can go off and like jerk off to later.
Yeah, like every time I record with you.
Exactly. You're not going full fucking New Yorker or whatever. What was that guy's name? The guy who got fired because he like.
Oh yeah, the New Yorker reporter who like went into a Zoom call without pants.
Yeah, you aren't going full New Yorker on me. You're going off and doing your thing later after the cameras are off. You're not a fucking idiot. You don't want to get fired from deep cuts.
Yeah, are you kidding? I have to live in the mystery treehouse. I'm not trying to fucking try and find a new place to live.
If you got caught with your pants down on a deep cuts episode, like the listeners would be out for blood. Cancel culture would be in full swing.
Bacon and legs? More like bacon and sex.
Yeah, exactly. See, and that's why you don't do it, because you go off and do those horrible, barely works puns in the privacy of your own room with the cameras off.
That's my other kink. I have two. My other kink is puns that don't really work and then you roll your eyes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But once again, collecting it all for the spank bank.
100%.
Just like Kevin Carpet, who definitely sexually gets off on this, and
100%. Kevin Carpet.
Nobody is buying this bullshit at all.
No, Kevin Carpet being like, I don't get off on this sexually is like everyone involved in the political landscape of America being like, I don't know who is in the Epstein files.
Oh yeah, yeah. Kevin Carpet says I don't get off on this carpet stepping thing that I've been doing since the 80s with the same bravado and conviction of JD Vance saying, no, I definitely don't hate Donald Trump now, even though I once called him Hitler and human fentanyl. I definitely like him now and have changed my mind, and now I fully support everything he does, and I'm not in any way, shape, or form just pretending like I like this guy that I've openly called Hitler before in order to amass and consolidate my own power. Kevin has even claimed that he hasn't had physical sex in over 30 years.
Yeah, sure, but you know what? That motherfucker's been stepped on like 3 times a day.
Yeah, why do you think you haven't had sex in 30 years? Because you're getting it somewhere else, baby.
Yeah,
it's coming.
Like,
the call is coming from within the house. The call is coming from within the dick.
Yeah, I haven't had penetrative sex in like 30 years. I really just don't really believe in this binary that penetrative sex is the only sexual encounter. I mean, I don't actually really have any strong opinions on it, but I'm just saying, like, we need to broaden our scope and like, oh yeah, step on me again. We just, I just feel like there's other ways of, oh my God, not in my stomach, There's just ways that we can all like agree and like, have encounters.
It's like, yeah, I haven't had sex in 30 years. I'm pretty sure I'm asexual. Anyway, I gotta go now. I have to lay down on a New York street and cover myself in a carpet and wait for women to step on me, which I've been doing since the 80s. According to Kevin, the reason he does this is more akin to an avant-garde art performance.
Bullshit! 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 That is so bullshit.
I mean, going back to Louis C.K., he fucked up.
Yeah, that should have been what he said.
He had a get out of jail free card.
Yeah, homie was like, okay, so I got this idea. I need to get this kink out of my system. Art project?
Oh my God. Yeah, it's that anything you can do. And you can do anything and just be like, it was avant-garde performance art, which is like, that's kind of like what people do with like we were talking about it on the Gareb Seamus episode, that he does those horrible paintings and then he's just like, it's like deep, it means something or whatever, it's modern art or whatever, and it's like, no, I'm pretty sure it just sucks. And it's
I'm pretty sure it's just culturally appropriative. You suck, and you have a lot of money, and you have rich friends who will buy your paintings for you, and then you probably just pay them back the money so that you can have the identity of an artist because you're lost in the wilderness of what life post Wizard magazine even means.
Yeah,
and that's what Kevin's deal is, where he's just like, you know what, dude? He's like the Kleps or like fucking, Charles Wexler Weller. He exists in a quantum state beyond sexual needs. He's out there in the carpet zone, know?
He's highway to the carpet zone. Sidewalk to the carpet zone.
Sideway to the carpet zone, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, people always do this for like shitty, low effort art, where they just like, those people that just like put paint in a can and poke some holes in the bottom of it, and then like tie it to a string, and then just like let it rock back and forth, and as it's dripping paint on a giant canvas on the ground, and then they're just like, this is modern art, it's expressionistic, and it's like, no, this is horrible. This is you just swinging a paint can. It's not, you're not doing anything. People do this all the time for bad art. Kevin is doing it for, I definitely don't jerk off to this.
Yeah. Which kind of low-key, kind of the same thing.
Yeah, oh yeah, either way somebody's jerking off.
I mean, what do you think Pollock's abstract expressionist paintings are really about,
Oh yeah, 100%.
That guy on TikTok who has the paint can strapped to the ceiling on a cord and he like throws it around. That guy's into some, come on baby, let me just come on this wall.
Actually, I'm going to New York at the end of October, so I know what I'm doing.
Oh, me too, actually. I'll be there in 2 weeks.
Apparently, he even received a government grant at one point for this art, and he can afford to do this carpet thing full time because he's a trust fund baby. So now we're getting into this. We're getting into the stuff that I kind of alluded to before, which is, you joked about him being like a porn mogul or whatever. I don't know about that, but as we're about to explore, he is very rich and from a rich family. And that he's not some destitute vagabond living on the streets. He is a trust fund baby.
We should all be so fortunate.
I mean, I'd be out on the streets having people step on me too. His father's an executive at Universal, and Kevin attended Tisch when he was younger. He cited an improv exercise this theater teacher would have the students do, where they would all act like inanimate objects, like a chair or lamp. But Kevin wanted to be on the floor, so he laid there, letting people step all over him. A new passion was unlocked. It sounds like he just doesn't know that it's a fetish. It sounds like maybe he really does think that it's performance art, and it's because he just doesn't realize that what he's doing is because of a fetish.
But is it that either way is interesting. Is it he's self-diluted into thinking it's an art project, not a fetish, or is the fetish the true motivation, and the art project is the kayfabe kind of, suit of armor on top to try and insulate him from social scorn and ridicule. But in fact,
95%, I would say that it's that. I would say it's the kayfabe of like, oh, this totally isn't a sexual fetish. This is like an art performance project. I'm not a weird pervert. I'm just a genius. 95% I would say is that. Maybe 99% I would say is that. But that story specifically about the fact that he did an improv class where he was supposed to be an inanimate object, and he's like, and just for some reason, the idea of laying on the floor and being a carpet and having people step on me just spoke to me. To me, it's like, honey, you're getting off on this. It didn't just speak to you. Your dick spoke to you.
Yeah.
Like, that's the little 1% of it where it's like, maybe he just doesn't realize, maybe he's just getting his wires crossed and he thinks that this is some kind of performance art, and he just is oblivious to the fact that it's just a fetish.
I kind of love that idea.
Like, he's so rich that he's just he's far into the Jim Carrey zone, and he's confusing fetishes for artistic expression. He's just lost in the Hall of Mirrors.
The Hall of Carpet.
So he took it on the road, carpeting at clubs like Continental, Mud Club, and Paradise Garage in New York. He even claims to have been stepped on by various celebrities, including Madonna, Joan Jett, and Lady Gaga. The Lady Gaga incident has actually been confirmed through the singer herself, and amazingly, the story incorporates another Deep Cuts regular.
Lady Gaga, I was curious curious. Have you heard of the artist known as Andrew WK?
No.
He's from New York. He has a song, Party Hard, Party Hard.
No.
He has a club called Santos Party House. Mm-hmm. He actually runs that in New York. I don't know if you ever performed there or not.
No.
Now, he told me when I asked him about one of the weirdest club experiences that he ever had, because there's a lot of weird club experiences you can have in New York, right? Was he went to this club and there was a sign that said, step up to the bar. So he stepped...
Oh, I have been there. There's a guy. Oh my God, this is I'm gonna finish your story for you.
Oh, thank you, Lady Gaga.
So I have been to that bar, and I have not. Did I play there? My buddies played there, and I went to go see them play.
This actually wasn't his bar, but he was telling me about the story. But continue on, Lady Gaga.
So then the bar is actually on 40-something Street in Hell's Kitchen. I've been to that bar, and it's actually it's a sex party. And you go to the party, and there's, just a lot of people hanging out, getting drunk, having a good time. And it says, please step up to the bar. And there's a guy wrapped in a carpet underneath the bar, and you step up onto it, and you order your drink, not knowing that he's in there. And all of a sudden, you hear, like, moaning and groaning, and you're like, what's going on? And you realize that you and all of your girlfriends are standing on some guy who's totally aroused that you're standing on top of him.
He has a crush fetish.
He has a fetish on women that step on him.
And a bundling fetish as well. Like, he gets bundled up. He's wrapped in, like, cloths and stuff like that.
I mean, I'd like to...
Okay, so first of all, Andrew WK is involved?
There's so much happening there. One, that wig that Lady Gaga is wearing is amazing, and I completely forgot that used to be her thing for a hot minute. Two...
Yeah, looking like a Fraggle Rock character.
She looks like Sia mixed with a Fraggle Rock character. Two, what was going on with the sound in that scene? Did you notice that he was talking into a mic, but the mic wasn't picking up the sound recording? It was the camera. It was a directional mic on the camera that was picking up the sound.
Yeah, I mean, I don't regularly watch Nardwuar. I'm just familiar with his existence, and I've seen many clips of him on social media. Like, I know his thing. His whole thing is that he just, like, knows weirdly specific information about celebrities or musicians, and then they're always like shocked that he knows some really specific pool that they didn't know anybody knew. But I don't like watch his I don't watch his interviews in total, so I don't know specifically, but it seems like the microphone is just a prop. Like I don't
it's just so distracting.
A functional microphone.
It was so weird. But three, I love that she was like, he was moaning. He was just.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the other thing I was gonna say. The other thing I was gonna say, because I was like, first and foremost, Andrew WK is in the mix. He's part of this, of course he is. But also that just after everything of like, oh no, it's totally performance art. It's not, and then you see that and you're like, no, yeah, we're right. It's a sex thing. Yeah, 100%.
100%, it's a sex thing.
I believe Lady Gaga. I go Gaga for Gaga's take on this. Despite Kevin insisting there's no sexual arousal whatsoever, that's not how Lady Gaga tells it. For Kevin, it's more of a spiritual experience.
After the second hour, I start zoning out. It's a Zen type state. I'm feeling the people, hearing what they're talking about. I'm looking down at everyone hanging out. And I just phase out of being a person.
Bro. Kevin. K-baby. Kevy Carpy. You're describing a sexual fetish. My cute little baby boy. My little bouncing ball of joy. Let me crawl off my lap. You step on me for a second. You are describing a sexual fetish. Come on, man. I hate to break this to you. You're not talking about performance art. You're talking about getting off. For Kevin, this is an opportunity to be part of the countercultural scene. While 80s and 90s punks got a kick out of this routine, his popularity has persevered amongst the indie sleaze scene. But while some think his bit's funny, others naturally find it odd, which doesn't bother Kevin.
If you're popular, you're going to have haters. I think personally the only person that never really had haters is Mr. Rogers.
Wow, this really is like a deep cuts universe.
Yeah, the next time he's like, I've always wanted Shane Carruth to make an episode about me. Too bad that guy got canceled.
We're going through it and we're just like, we start like doing the whole thing with like connecting the yarn on the cork board or whatever. And we're just like, and we just realize that he references every single episode of Deep Cuts in his interviews. It feels like the kind of thing Stefan would talk about during a Saturday Night Live segment. This club has everything: music, drinks, a guy wrapped up in a carpet by the bar you have to step on if you want to order something. While Kevin has thought about retiring from the carpet guy lifestyle, especially after his injury, he doesn't have any plans on quitting just yet. In fact, his dream is to one day be a human runway speed bump during New York Fashion Week. Kevin's parents have since passed away, never learning about his alter ego, and Kevin seems committed to keeping it going.
I do it for fun, to be involved in fun parties, just to be a plaything people can have fun on. Come on, man.
It's like,
come on, man.
we're just experiencing the war between the id, the ego, and the superego, like in real time. We're experiencing the externalization of the Freudian model in front of our very eyes. Yeah, it's totally, it's totally not a sexual thing. It's totally just I'm expressing myself through art. I just love the artistic expression of just going to every party that I can and finding as many women to step on me while I'm in a carpet. It's just my expression, guys. But if you go to a bar in New York City and see a lump wrapped up in a carpet, there's a chance it's not Kevin at all. Because apparently carpet guys are like the Sith in that they abide by the rule of two. Enter Giorgio T, aka Giorgio the Human Carpet. We got a picture of Giorgio the Human Carpet here.
Well, it's a carpet with a hole cut in it and a guy's mouth and nose barely peeking out. But from what I can see, he looks like the type of guy that would be up late at night watching a Wilford Brimley diabetes commercial.
You're just saying that because he has a mustache?
Yes.
This is like in the what episode was that where you said there was a guy named it was the Dolphin House experiment episode, and the guy who did the Dolphin House thing, his name was John C. Lilly, and you said that he looked like John C. Reilly, and I was like, you just saying that because his name is John C. Lilly? Yeah, I mean, he looks. I mean, I set this up as an intentional joke because for the listener, you don't know this, but the picture is just of Giorgio the carpet. What is his name? Giorgio the Human Carpet?
The Human Carpet.
It's just him in a carpet with a little hole cut out for his mouth. So he looks like a carpet knight. It was an intentional joke because there's no this guy looks like, because you can't see him. He's like in a carpet. But yeah, unlike Kevin the Carpet, it looks like Giorgio the Carpet, the Human Carpet, is much more living the kayfabe or in the character of a carpet guy, to the point where he like literally sits and is interviewed while like wrapped in a carpet with like a little face hole cut out of it so you can see his mouth. And he has a big bushy mustache. He's an immigrant from Malta who follows the same shtick as Kevin. He also discovered a predilection towards being stepped on when he was young, as he told the New York Times.
I loved to have weights on. I liked having my cats walk over me.
And this bled into childhood games he would play with his friends.
Somebody wanted to be the doctor. Somebody wanted to be the carpenter. And I would want to be the carpet.
These two guys just being like, it's definitely not sexual. This is
dude,
not
it
a
was when I
sexual
was a kid.
thing.
It was when I was a kid. I just wanted to be the carpet. It's not that big a deal. Some kids want to be Spider-Man. I wanted to be the carpet man.
These guys are either just like in the deepest kayfabe of just trying to convince people of this, or they are in the biggest denial of any person I've ever met of the fact that this is just blatantly has some sexual connotation to it. Unlike Kevin, Giorgio does have to earn a living elsewhere. When he's not getting stepped on, Giorgio works as a massage therapist in Fairfield County, Connecticut. I wonder if he discloses this to his clients, because I feel like I would want to know if the person touching me like spent his days out on the street trying to get people to step on him. For Giorgio, his carpet work comes at a cost. He typically charges appearances up to $300 a pop to appear at events.
Man, this guy has the ultimate hack. He's getting off and getting paid.
You're paying him to perform sex work on him. Like he's got it all figured out.
He really does.
Would you pay the $300 to like?
No. Well, is it $300 because it's $300 for an appearance fee, and then everybody can step on him, right?
Yeah, I mean, the appearance. I mean, I'm assuming that the implication is that people are gonna be stepping on him.
Yeah, let's set up a Patreon.
But if we were doing some kind of deep cuts event, like we were doing a deep cuts live show in New York City, would you pay $300 to just have him show up?
Yeah, as long as the Patreon backers kicked in the money. I don't want to pay for it, but I'm game for them to pay for it.
It's weird foreshadowing of something. I wonder what. Giorgio also has almost a carpet costume. Whereas Kevin just rolls up in a carpet, Giorgio cuts out a hole at the top of the carpet for his mouth to peek through. There were also armholes. It's more of a costume than set direction. And to further differentiate himself from Kevin, Giorgio fully leans into the idea that there is a sexual component to his work, but only under certain conditions.
2 girls step on me and make out. And if that doesn't turn me on, I don't know what would.
Okay. This is even funnier. This is even funnier than denying that there's a sexual connotation to it. Because Giorgio, he's like, oh yeah, there's definitely a sexual thing to it, but no homo.
Yeah.
That's better. I didn't think that it could get funnier of a dude who's like, oh, please step on me while I'm inside of rolled up into a carpet, but like there's nothing sexual about this. It's just an artistic expression. I didn't think anything could get funnier than that, but I'm going to roll up on this carpet. Please step on me. Yes, I do get off on it, but like not from the dudes.
Yeah, please only be baddies. I only want baddies to step on me.
Just the ego driven thing of like, yes, I do roll up into a carpet, and yes, I do sit around waiting for people to step on me, but like I'm not a fucking weirdo or something like that. Like that is hilarious to me. Just like, but I'm still homophobic though. Like that's so funny. Oh god. That's amazing. That's so great. And many seem perfectly fine stepping on Giorgio, as Vice followed him around for one evening when he set up shop at a club. We're going to actually, for the first time, we didn't really get to see it with Kevin, other than that one little TikTok video, but we're going to actually get to see this whole carpet stepping situation. We get to see the craft, Dave.
The craft of carpeting.
We get to see the work being done.
Giorgio is a long-time staple in the scene where he feels safe, where he feels wanted, where people are open to that sort of thing. He'll be there, and we always enjoy having him.
I would love to. I would stomp on the human carpet if he or she wanted me to.
I'll probably order a drink like standing right on top of it. It's kind of normal for New York City, I don't know.
I only see legs and shoes and feet. The more I look like a carpet and less of a human, the more steppable I will be. If people see only a human being in me, they would be less prone to stepping on me. There are moments when people step on me, they're curious, they want to experience it. I try to dance them and bounce them up and down and give them a little wavy motion. Magic carpet, so to speak. People that I've seen before, who have walked on me before, jump on me because they love doing it, and that really makes my day.
This story is like, it's forged in a fiery kiln to be a boogeyman for rural conservatives, to talk about what a cesspool of deviancy that like big cities like New York City are. Like this sounds like a made up story that like Fox News or something, or some clickbait bullshit would be.
Yeah, this is like when they were like, the furries, the children are being furries, and the schools are supporting them by giving them fucking like kitty litter boxes.
Yeah, that's exactly the story I was thinking of. Like, this very much reminds me of that story where people were saying that like schools were allowing children to identify as cats, and they were providing cat litter boxes. But the reality of the situation was that there was like one story about a school that had like a bucket of cat litter in it, which was literally like they kept it in a closet as like a safety protocol in case there was a school shooting, so that like children could like go to the bathroom while in lockdown in the classroom without access to a bathroom. And then somebody like learned of that story and then decided to like take it out of context to be like, the liberals are letting the children identify as cats or whatever. This is like that, except for it's real. It's like, it's actually happening. There really is a dude in a club somewhere with a little fucking hole cut out for his mouth and mustache, so he looks like a Muppet, a carpet Muppet. And he's like, yes, step on me. Not
Step
the guy,
me,
not
please,
the dudes though,
please.
just the girls making out.
No dudes, please, no dudes.
No homo. Unless it's women homo, that's fine.
But do we think Kevin would be into it if... Do we think Kevin's proclivities would be different if he could see the people? Like, do we think that he also has a sense of toxic masculinity and homophobia inborn in him, but because the feet that are touching him don't have a visual component of what gender they are attached to, he doesn't think about that. Whereas Giorgio can see and is forced to confront that aspect of his personality.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's quite that deep, but I do think, I mean, it seems from everything we've seen so far, the interviews and stuff like that, that Kevin is just not attaching any kind of ego-driven stigma to it. Like, he seems like he's just like, I don't care what you are, just step on me, baby, step on me. I mean, you know, who knows what his real feelings are? I mean, you know, I can't look into the heart of the carpet man, Dave. But at least from the way he presents himself, Kevin is much more open to all walks of life, all identities. Giorgio also took his act to the beach where it's too hot for a carpet, but he'll cover his body in the sand and encourage people to walk all over the makeshift quicksand. Either way, he has a sign with him letting everyone know there's a man in that carpet and that you can step on him if you like. And yeah, we got a picture of this, but there's a little cardboard sign and it says, "Please step on carpet man. Ladies, his face too? He loves it. Thank you for tipping."
Amazing.
Once again, just step on the carpet man. Just for the ladies, also step on my face.
Also,
not
face
the
is
dudes.
capitalized.
Yeah. Ladies, his face too?
Ladies, comma, lowercase his, face capitalized to lowercase question mark. He capitalized, loves capitalized, it lowercase, no punctuation.
Listen, Dave, he is an artist. I don't need to. Let's not get into what your scripts look like.
Hey man. Let's not break kayfabe.
Between his day job and his time as a human carpet, Giorgio doesn't have much time for a romantic relationship. He's mentioned being in a relationship before, but according to him, she couldn't accept his desire to be stepped on. And Giorgio says he's helped awaken dormant feelings within some who've stepped on him. He recalled one incident where a woman stood on him for 2 hours, and when she was done, she leaned down and thanked him, never thinking she'd have a chance to stand on a man like that. Giorgio concluded, "I woke up a monster in her." Man, he got friend-zoned by one of the only other people in the world that like sexually gets off on stepping on people in carpets. Like, they found each other across a sea of people, you know, a sea of adversity. I'm a person who just wants to roll up in a carpet and have people step on me. And everybody finds that strange and odd. And I become this, this focus of entertainment. But at the end of the day, there's nobody in this world who is on my same wavelength. And then he found somebody against all odds. He connected with somebody who was the other end, the other side of that equation, that she in and of herself was awakened to find out that she likes to step on people and that's her thing. But like, I'm gonna go find a different person. That
but I'm not into this. Sorry.
I'm not. I'm just not. Though. You're gonna make a different person, a different woman who likes to be stepped on, very happy someday.
Yeah, it's not you. It's me. It's me. I
gotta go.
Yeah, I need something other than this.
Friend zoned by one of the only people in the world who is sexually aroused by stepping on people. Like Kevin, Giorgio has no plans on quitting being a carpet man. He suspects he'll retire 10 years after he dies. Junior sleuths, listeners of Deep Cuts, Lil Buddies. That's what I call you. Well, you're the junior sleuth. I call you Lil Buddies. First of all, sorry that we were gone for a couple of weeks. We took a 2-week hiatus. We're not like amazing at announcing those things. But it was for good reason. We were busy. We were busy doing a bunch of cool stuff that we can now tell you about. First and foremost, we're launching a new YouTube channel. So in addition to Deep Cuts, the show, which is available on all podcast platforms, as well as YouTube on our Deep Cuts YouTube channel, we also now have the Mystery Treehouse YouTube channel. Tell the listener what Mystery Treehouse is.
It's our new deep dive video explainer series, video essays about weird and interesting topics, somewhat similar to Deep Cuts, but just a little bit more formalized and in a video essay format. Some of the episodes are straight ahead video essays. Some of the episodes are discussions where Andrew and I kind of go back and forth on a topic. The first episode of the Mystery Treehouse is up right now.
Yeah, so right now, if you subscribe to the show, as Dave said, the first video is up already, and it is a remake / sequel to the Andrew WK episode. So basically, the first half of the episode, which is an hour and a half long, is essentially a retelling of the Andrew WK episode for viewers of the YouTube channel that don't necessarily listen to Deep Cuts. They're not just being thrown into a story out of context. So we go through and recap the Andrew WK episode in the first half of the episode. The last half of the episode is everything that's happened after the Andrew WK episode came out back in 2020. So all of the events of Andrew WK that transpired after that episode came out, as well as our involvement in the story. Because remember, in case you don't know, at one point, Andrew WK actually listened to our episode and reacted to it and incorporated us into his kayfabe story. And that stuff is all covered in this new Mystery Treehouse video, all the way leading up to basically Andrew WK's disappearance from society. That's up right now. You can watch it right now. It is both a remake as well as a sequel. So if you've listened to the Andrew WK episode already, this has got plenty more new content for you. So I definitely recommend checking it out. But that being said, moving forward, these Mystery Treehouse videos will not just be remakes of Deep Cuts episode. They're going to be brand new things. As a matter of fact, the next video that's going to be coming out next week is an episode where Dave explores why superhero movies are bland and forgettable. So if you subscribe to the Mystery Treehouse YouTube channel by going to bit.ly/Mystery Treehouse, you will get immediate access to a sequel to the Andrew WK episode with a bunch of new content in it. And then next week, you'll get access to this new video. Also, it's been a long time coming. We've discussed doing this for a while. There's always been some reason why we did or didn't or whatever, but we're launching the Patreon. It's here, little buddies. We're doing it. You can now directly support Deep Cuts and in exchange get access to a lot of cool stuff.
I'm excited about the Patreon. It's been a long time coming. We've talked about doing it multiple times. Frankly, we probably should have done it fucking years ago. But we're here now. We're doing it. And if you've liked the show, if you've been a member of our community, if you've listened to the show over long commutes to work, lonely car rides, or if you're a person who works at a mortuary home and collects corpses, like at least one of our listeners is, and he told us he listens to the show while collecting dead people.
You can now do all of that stuff, but you can write it off on your taxes. But here's the thing. Not only are you going to be supporting that to, keep getting newer and better and bigger and more extravagant content, but you're going to also get a few little perks and bonuses yourself for your patronage. So we have 3 tiers currently. This might change in the future, but right now, what we have to launch is these 3 tiers. There's the Junior Sleuth tier, which is the base tier. It's $5 a month. And with this tier, you're going to get an episode shout out on every episode of the show, and you are going to get access to the ad-free show. The back catalog and every new episode will be available on Patreon with no ads. Then we have the Junior Sleuth Plus tier, which is $6 a month. So for $1 more a month, you will also get access to Shallow Cuts, which is going to be a bonus episode series that we're going to do, where it's essentially Dave and I doing an additional shorter show where we are going to basically every episode be looking at some interesting, cool thing that we really like or are obsessed with, and then just kind of discussing it. And you'll also be getting access to our YouTube videos from Mystery Treehouse 3 days early. So whereas everybody is going to get videos on, a Thursday or a Wednesday or whatever it is we're putting these out, you will get access to every video from the Mystery Treehouse YouTube channel 3 days in advance. And then last, we have the Sleuth tier, which is $10 a month. And with this tier, you will get access to all of that stuff, plus access to Deeper Cuts, which is another bonus episode of the show that will be basically like a more in-depth version of Shallow Cuts, where we're going to talk about something for longer. And you will also get access to a monthly live episode of the show. So we're going to start recording one episode of the show live every month. And it'll be a regular episode of the show that people will listen to normally, but it'll be recorded live with Sleuth members of the Patreon. You can watch it as it's being recorded, so you can kind of see the making of a Deep Cuts episode. And also you can interact and participate in the episode. So we'll have a chat open and we'll actually respond to the chat, and that'll be incorporated into the episode. You'll also be able to vote on episode topics in a private Discord channel. So there will be a new channel added to Discord that is specifically for voting on episode topics and suggesting episode topics, which we have a suggestion channel in the Discord, but it's kind of like maybe one day we'll do this, but this will be like a specific channel where like your suggestions will get voted on, and if they get voted on, we will definitely do that episode. And then also lastly, your episode shout out will include a custom message, so you can tell us a specific thing that you want us to say on the show, and within reason, within levels of appropriateness, we will say your message when we shout you out at the end of the episode or in the middle or whatever, whenever we do the episode shout outs. Go to bit.ly/deepcuts Patreon right now and subscribe to your chosen tier. And you are not only going to get access to all of those perks that we just described, but also every tier of the Patreon right now. If you subscribe, you will get instant access to our first bonus episode, which is the history of Deep Cuts. We recorded an episode where we talked about the history of the show, how it started, how we created the show, our journey to making the show and it growing, and our whole story of Deep Cuts and how we did it and all of the adventures we had along the way.
I'm very excited about both of these things. One, because, I like making stuff with you, but also I'm excited because it feels like we've kind of been moving in this direction for a long time. It feels like we've sort of like oh, we should really, it'd be really cool if we had a visual component. Oh man, I wish we could make this as a video essay. Oh, I wish we could do, this, that, and the other. And now, hopefully through the support of this Patreon, we'll be able to continue to make these video essays for a good long while, because we've already shot. Should we say how many we've shot?
Yeah, we've shot 12 of these videos.
And we're going to continue shooting.
We have like 20 of them written. Maybe more than that. We might have like 30 videos written. We have 12 of them shot. We have like 5 of them finished and edited and ready to go out. And we're going to be pumping these out weekly, basically. High quality, highly produced video essays. And if you like deep cuts, but you want to see us kind of take a more analytical approach to subjects rather than just like, here's a story and then we're kind of reacting to it. Here is like an idea that we want to unpack, and like a topic that we want to analytically explore the meanings of, then you definitely will enjoy Mystery Treehouse. So check out the Patreon. Once again, bit.ly/deepcutspatreon. Join the Discord where if you check out the Patreon and subscribe, you're going to get access to some stuff there. And subscribe to the Mystery Treehouse YouTube channel right now, bit.ly/Mystery Treehouse.
There's fucking like 3 calls to action. Come on, baby, let's party.
And now, back to the show. Act 2. A carpet in the sheets, but a man on the streets. Many online have claimed Kevin Carpet and Giorgio the Human Carpet have a feud. How could they not? It's hard to track much down online, but according to New Yorkers, there's indeed beef between the two. This is all just rumor, but reportedly, Kevin feels like Giorgio copied him since he's been doing it since the 80s. Meanwhile, Giorgio doesn't like that Kevin denies the sexual gratification component of this. Ultimately, they seem to be 2 guys who love wearing carpets and getting stepped on. In a way, they're largely carrying on the tradition of weirdos popping up in the New York nightlife scene, like Danny the Wonder Pony, a guy who would ask patrons to ride him like a horsey with a saddle, and Lady Hennessy Brown, who would spray crowds with her perpetually lactating breasts.
I feel like we just found 2 more episodes.
Let's do episodes on those. We got it. We're cooking. I love this. I mean, this was the thing that solidified that we should do an episode about it. The fact that they have a beef, and I love that their beef is based on like the philosophy of the craft.
Yeah.
The fact that that Kevin hates Giorgio because he thinks that he like stole his shtick, and then Giorgio hates Kevin because he thinks that he's like being too pretentious about it. Like he's like, no, just accept the base like vibe of this. Like, you're jerking off to this. I love that they have a craft based beef. It's like Oasis versus Blur in the 90s.
Yeah,
it's like
100%. You guys, you're taking the influence of the Beatles the wrong way. I love this so much, especially because, like you're saying, it's not even like it's not a personality thing. It's not like you're encroaching on my identity, which it is to a certain extent, but it's literally just like, you are doing the thing wrong, which is so interesting because it's a reflection of someone's interior sexual proclivities, which there is no way of doing that wrong. Well, I mean, as long as nothing's illegal and nobody's getting hurt, there's nothing wrong with that. And
it goes without saying that you don't mean that there's literally nothing you can do wrong, but within the realm of good taste.
Yeah, within the realm of healthily expressing your sexual desires, it's very interesting that they're like, we have the same kink, but we also kind of don't, but we also do. And because of that, there's no one else in our community. So we are pissed off at each other. It's like if there was only 2 guys with foot fetishes on the earth.
Yeah, I have a guy like this on TikTok who he's like some random guy who has like 1,000 followers, which I'm not trying to like talk down to him or whatever. Like I have way more followers than this guy, but he's just like, he's a random guy, but he like makes videos about like animation, and he's like clearly like a really obsessed animation guy, like animation head. And anytime I ever do video, because I also, the 2 of us we're very, very interested and fascinated by animation and animation history and the figures behind these iconic characters and things like that. And I make videos about that a lot. And he always has something to say about my coverage of these things. And he's like, actually, you got that slightly wrong. And the last video I made, the opening of his comment that I saw was, as always, you're half right. And I was just like, this guy, he always comes for me. And the issue is just that, like, I sometimes summarize things. You know, I don't always like cover things exhaustively because
you're making a 2-minute video.
Making a 2-minute video, and he always has a problem with me not like exactly saying something in the accurate way. Like one time I said, as a way of summarizing, I was talking about the fact that they used to recycle animation. Disney used to recycle animation. They would take literal cells from other things and they would reuse them. They would basically trace over them so they didn't have to like redo a certain thing. So like, we need somebody to dance in this scene, so let's just reuse the scene of Snow White dancing and just do that, and we'll just trace over it with a new character or whatever. But the way that I said it was paint over the cell, and he was like, they don't literally paint over the cells. And I was just like, I know, I was just fine, okay, yes, I'm wrong. But yeah, I got one of these guys, but it keeps me on my toes. So now I'm in the back of my mind, I'm like, I gotta say this so that guy doesn't fucking hate on me. So, you know,
that guy is just me.
Yeah, it's Dave. I was beating around the bush, but this is Dave I'm talking about. But yeah, so, you know, Giorgio and Kevin, they're making each other better. That's the thing. You gotta have that clash, or else you just get complacent. But it's hard not to see the two as opposite sides of the same coin. You know, a carpeted coin. They may have the same gimmick, but they have different end goals. Kevin does it for quote-unquote art. It doesn't really seem like he accepts payments and is just happy to be a fixture in the New York nightlife. Meanwhile, Giorgio is more than happy to admit there's a sexual part of all this. He receives payment and works another job, driving from Connecticut to Manhattan to engage in his pastime. But where does the line get drawn in terms of art or fetishism? Here's a more important question to me. How the hell do they have time to do this shit?
I mean, when you have a trust fund,
I get Kevin, because he's like a trust fund kid. This is all he needs to do. But Giorgio, he works a full-time job. How is he coming over to New York and getting stepped on all the time?
No shit, man. And why New York? Why not go to just like another place in Connecticut?
Oh, I mean, Dave, come on. Don't go amateur hour on us. We know that Connecticut feet are different than New York feet.
That's true.
It's like how the bagels in LA aren't as good as the New York bagels. Like you should know this, man.
Yeah, I know. I apologize. You're right.
This may have been a debate confined to niche circles in New York, but Kevin recently took the act on the road and it's been blowing up online. We opened the episode with one of these videos of someone finding Kevin carpet in public, even though it felt initially that he would only do it in nightclubs and parties. Apparently, he started setting up shop on sidewalks during the COVID lockdowns in the beginning of 2020, since clubs would have been shut down at the time. And he's just sort of kept at it all these years later. Wow, another thing that was like fundamentally changed and shifted by the COVID pandemic.
The world is truly not the same.
Yeah, it's all different. We live in a different world, including the fact that now you can, you know, in the same way that now you see, you know, as you walk down the street, all these places that kind of just kept their outdoor seating. So all these restaurants that used to just, you know, have like maybe a little bit of a patio, but mostly it was all indoors. Now they have that whole little area with like a little tent over it, and it's full of chairs or whatever, and it's kind of on the side out on the street or whatever. Now you can also walk around and just step on horny dudes. You'd be forgiven for assuming there was a third carpet guy in the midst, or maybe just someone using a carpet as a blanket. But one video confirms that it is indeed Kevin becoming an impediment to New York's foot traffic.
He set up his home base. Oh just my God. Hobbita. Hey, this is my home base.
Under there? I'm not saying anything. Oh. He was under there. I stepped on you. I did a 360. What? I did a 360 on you.
Yeah, Kevin. I'm up close. Kevin looks like Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, maybe he is. Maybe Philip Seymour Hoffman is not passed away.
This is the conspiracy.
Yeah, he's just reinvented himself.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, he faked his death so that he could just he was like, I was doing this since the 80s, but I just wasn't able to put my all into it. My acting work was just taking up too much time. I really just, the entire time I was on the set of The Master, I was just like, I wish I was masturbating right now while under a carpet. And then he finally just decided to fake his death and just commit to it full time. There are plenty of other videos people have taken confirming it's Kevin when he's either getting out of the carpet mode or into it. And the response has been divisive, to say the least. Of course, many are horrified to learn that there's a guy wrapping himself in carpet waiting to get stepped on.
So if you didn't know, there's a person in there. Kevin the carpet, the human carpet rather. He's been going around for literal years, typically in the party scenes. What I don't love about this is that's not consensual at all, because nobody knows that there's a person in there. It's actually kind of alarming because they're like moving around and such. Someone could trip. But again, if it's like an actual desire, or I feel like that should be like disclosed between all parties.
I mean, it is weird. I agree.
Yeah,
but also like
the whole
I don't know
someone could trip thing is kind of ridiculous. That reminds me of whenever Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, and then people were like, he could have killed him. He could have like fallen and broken his neck, and it's just like, my God. But that being said, all joking aside, of like, we have fun on Deep Cuts. We like to sit and joke. And we jape about dudes under carpets getting stepped on and clearly having sexual arousal from it. But that being said, getting a little bit into this part of it, like what do you feel about that? Like the point that she's making there, that there's a guy who's like trying to get people to step on him very clearly for some kind of sexual thing. What are your thoughts on that? Like the things that she's saying, the idea that it's like non-consensual, and
I don't know. I feel like
something problematic about it.
I mean, yeah, it's not good. I mean, he's a weirdo.
I mean, on that front, if we're engaging with that on that front, Giorgio, the human carpet, is I don't think he's above board in that regard, because he literally has a sign and he's like, step on me. Like I think if that is an issue, if what she's saying is a good point, or if there is something problematic about this, I think Giorgio, the human carpet, is doing everything right. Like he's creating a dynamic where it is definitely consensual. But that just leaves Kevin, who kind of is doing it more covertly. Yes, I agree. He is, like, all joking aside, this is a very strange thing to do.
Yeah. But is it Louis C.K.? No, I don't think. I think objectively it's not. I mean, but here's the thing. I think it's an interesting kind of like a specific type of person is like, oh my God, can you believe? And like, maybe I'm just being insensitive, but that's not my perspective at all. My perspective is like, that guy's a fucking weirdo, dude.
Yeah, my perspective is more like, I mean, of course, there are horrible things that happen, especially in larger cities. Some recently, not to get so dark, but recently there was a woman who was brutally murdered on a subway car in Georgia, Charlotte, something. I forget where the place was. There's horrible things that happen under cover of night in big cities with women walking alone. I'm not trying to make light of that at all. That is horrible. That's a problem. Shouldn't be made light of. But in regards to something like this, where there's a guy that's doing this out in the open in broad daylight, everybody's kind of aware of what they're doing. My perspective is more like, keep New York weird. It's kind of like, yeah, this guy's a fucking weirdo, but like, I don't know, just let him be a weirdo. Like I've been on record multiple times of saying that I love that human beings are ungovernable, and that while I personally am like a fairly quote unquote normal person who doesn't really have any kind of strange proclivities, I admire the humans, the human ambition to be strange and weird and bizarre. So those are my feelings on this. I mean, this is also like this is also like, once again, like there is definitely space for discussing, real issues that happen, and the fact that there are dangerous things that happen under cover of night, particularly when it comes to women walking alone by themselves. But there's also this other thing, which is this weird tendency for mostly younger people to just like be really like negative towards anything that's like even remotely strange, and this need to like other anything that isn't socially appropriate that exists less with people our age, or at least we were the counterculture to that, of like there was a lot of embracing of alternative lifestyles and weirdness.
I guess maybe we just run in different circles, but there's a lot of those people in my circles, unfortunately. I think that's a millennial thing too, of the like virtue signaling, social justice warrior, blah blah blah, you know, like those. And I'm not even like I don't think that being a social justice warrior is a bad thing. I'm just using it as a stand-in for a larger discussion of like people fighting against a perceived threat or an enemy that is very real and trying to do harm. And sometimes maybe people don't always draw those lines in the most effective ways. A lot of people on the left, they love infighting and they love to tear down their own.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's just like, is this really the battle to pick of a guy who covers himself in a carpet and sits around waiting for people to step on him? Is this the battle? Is this the battle?
Yeah, is this the battle? I don't think it is.
What are your final thoughts on this, Dave? What are your feelings on the carpet people of New York City? How soon are you going to be buying your own carpet and getting out there, hitting the boards? Like, just lay it all out.
I think my ultimate thoughts can be summed up in 3 parts. First part, I love that this exists. The human condition is a cornucopia of soul-rending grief and soaring symphonies of strangeness. And I think this is both. Part 2, I love the fact that these guys have beef, and I want an indie movie starring Philip Seymour Hoffman and Steve Buscemi about these 2 guys who are warring carpet mongers. Part 3.
Dave, the joke that was a joke. Philip Seymour Hoffman is dead.
No, I'm pretty sure he's alive.
That thing we were saying before, that was just a bit.
No, I'm pretty sure he's alive, bro.
Oh shit. You're a true believer.
I'm pretty sure he's alive, dude.
You're a Hoff maniac.
Yeah, dude. Us Hoff maniacs, we know the truth. And then part 3, I love the fact that Giorgio is like, no men, do not step on me, men. Where Kevin is just an equal opportunity stepper. That little wrinkle in it is just so funny to me.
Yeah, I love it, and it's so funny to me that Kevin eternally pretends like this thing that he's doing is some kind of like higher art form. He's that guy who I frequently reference on this show. This is just a trope or a meme at this point, but he is John Malkovich in Art School Confidential, in that scene where he's like, what's up with the triangles? And he's like, it took me 30 years to learn how to paint like that. He is that guy. Except for if in Art School Confidential, John Malkovich's character like got boners from drawing
off the triangles.
Yeah, drawing the triangles. I love that, and then I also love that like Giorgio is like the opposite side of that, where he's just like, no, like this is just, I love it. It gets me off. I get my jollies from this. This is just a fun base party thing, but no dudes though. I love that little thing of like, but I still, even though he probably does not feel that way, I feel like he probably is actually fine with the dudes, but I love the posturing that he is trying to like, I'm not fucking gay though. Like, I love that. That's so funny to me that he's like, yeah, step on me. I'm a little carpet baby. I'm a little carpet boy. Yum, 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 yum. I'm not fucking gay. I love that.
Yeah, this broadly accepted societal sexual orientation. Fuck that.
That's how powerful it is whenever you're homophobic or you're in that culture of homophobia where you're just like, yeah, of course I'm a carpet man. Call me carpet daddy. Here's my little carpet hole or my little mustache comes through. But like, fucking, I'm gay. I'm not fucking gay. Like it's both hilarious but also sad that is like how powerful homophobia is. But it's also hilarious.
Do you think that any of do you think that there is a component of class related to Giorgio and Kevin's both acceptance and rejection of the fetishism? Like, do you think that there's a direct causal link between Kevin's upper class mobility, trust fund lifestyle, and his shunning of the truth that this is obviously a fetishistic thing, and Giorgio's lower class struggle of existence, working a job that necessitates him, like, I don't have time to fuck around. Like, yeah, this is the thing I'm into, and I've got to fucking get my jollies, and then I've got to go back to work, and also give me money and step on me.
I think it's absolutely that, but also like a little bit different in that I think it's like, it's absolutely that Kevin is this like trust fund, super rich Nepo baby guy who has never had to work an honest day in his life. He has had everything given to him. Like, I'm assuming every person like that, they crave a feeling of validation that they've actually accomplished something in their lives, and that they haven't had everything handed to them, that they have done things that they have earned themselves. And so I totally understand the psychology of him being like, no, this is like my art. Like, I do this for the conceptual performance of it. It's not me just being like a rich guy who's never had to work a job, and I just and in that vacuum of not having to ever do anything for myself, I've developed this weird fetish, like many rich people do. There's so many stories of rich people that have strange fetishes and weird things that they do, and because in a vacuum of not having to really do anything, they just get weird. There's something that breaks their brain in a way. I can totally see why he wants to legitimize it and reject the idea that he's just a weird rich guy who gets off on people stepping on him. He's actually an artist. I totally get that. And I also think that on the other side of the coin, that Giorgio is like, he's an immigrant. He believes in the American, he believes in he believes in the myth of the great American dream. He believes in that idea of like, you go to the promised land of the United States where you're free to do anything you want, anything's possible, you can accomplish anything. And he's like, yeah, I came to America. I want people to step on me, baby. Like, I totally believe that that's what he is. He's like, yeah, I worked my job or whatever, but like, I came here to just be free and do the shit that I want to do. And what I want is for hot women to make out and step on me. Like, it makes so much sense. All of it makes so much sense to me.
Well, on that note, I'm Dave Baker.
And I'm Andrew Price.
This has been Deep Cuts. While I would normally say, please go buy Mary Tyler Moorhawk, now I'm going to say, back that Patreon. Subscribe to the Mystery Treehouse YouTube channel. Let's do this, baby.
Indeed. Yes. bit.ly/Deep Cuts Patreon to subscribe to Patreon now and get access to all of the bonus perks and cool stuff that we talked about during the break. And also subscribe to the YouTube channel, bit.ly/Mystery Treehouse, for weekly long-form explainer videos from ya boys.
Yeah, one of the things that I'll tease about the Patreon that I'm pretty excited about is one of the shallow/deeper cuts episode. The episode that's up on the Patreon right now, where we walked through the history of deep cuts. People on the show usually like it when Andrew and I talk about our off-camera relationship and how we used to work at the same company and all of the weird ins and outs of interviewing maybe reclusive conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, this episode is Oops, All Ins and Outs.
It's Oops, All Ins and Outs. Yeah, there's lots of weird little inside jokes that we've had in the show for years that the listener's not really apparent or not really clued into, that we talk about in the show, specifically how the show started, me maybe interviewing some people that we shouldn't have interviewed and then forcing Andrew to put it in the show because we definitely don't want to platform conspiracy theorists, but also the interview was too extreme not to.
Yeah, we did get into that. If nothing else, I think that if nothing else, you got to listen to the part where we talk about our potential regret for one of the episodes that we've done and discussing that and the nuances of it. If nothing else, that's a super fascinating discussion.
Yes. Yeah, I'm excited. Please go back to Patreon, and I'm excited to make a bunch of weird stuff.
I'm not. Sounds like a lot of work.